government is hurtling towards a federal shutdown which could disrupt many services. What does the shutdown mean and how will it affect and what happens next? We break it down for you. A shutdown happens when Congress fails to pass some type of funding legislation that is signed into law by the President. Lawmakers are supposed to pass 12 different spending bills to fund agencies across the government. When no funding legislation is enacted, federal agencies must stop all non-essential work and will not send paychecks as long as the shutdown lasts. Government funding expires on 1st of October, which is the start of the federal budget year. A shutdown will effectively begin at 12:01 a.m. It is impossible to predict how long a shutdown will last. The Democratic-held Senate and Republican-controlled House are working on vastly different plans to avert a shutdown. And House Speaker Kevin McCarthy is struggling to win any support to keep the government open. That's why millions of Americans are bracing for a stoppage that could last weeks. Millions of federal workers and military service members face delayed paychecks when the government shuts down. Non-essential employees are furloughed or temporarily suspended, while workers deemed essential would remain on the job but continue without a paycheck. It's even worse for government contractors because unlike federal workers, contractors have no guarantee of getting back pay once the government reopens. Flight delays could increase due to shortage of transport security officers and air traffic controllers. The social program, Women, Infants and Children, which helps 7 million pregnant women, parents and kids pay for groceries, could see its payments affected. Immigration courts could cancel hearing, which will in turn compound case backlogs. Most federal civil trials, including the cases against US former President Donald Trump, will be paused and new cases are unlikely to be considered. National parks and museums may stay open, but they could limit their hours and access to facilities like bathrooms. Low-risk food inspections are likely to be delayed. The Small Business Administration will pause reviews and approvals of new loans during a shutdown. The Pentagon is set to pause its military recruitment efforts during a shutdown. Social Security, Medicare and Medicaid are all slated to keep up their operations uninterrupted. All three programs fall under mandatory spending that the federal government has committed to. The US Postal Service relies on an independent source of revenue from the sale of products and services, so it will continue uninterrupted. SNAP food aid, like food stamps used by 40 million Americans, is expected to last through the end of October. The available federal disaster aid will continue to be distributed. Criminal prosecutions, including the cases being brought against Donald Trump, will continue. In 2018, then-President Donald Trump pushed for the longest government shutdown in history by arguing that Republicans shouldn't approve any bill that did not include $5 billion in funding for his border wall. That shutdown lasted for 35 days and was extremely unpopular. It's the responsibility of Congress to fund the government. The House and Senate have to agree to fund the government in some way. The two sides are deeply entrenched and nowhere near a deal to avert a shutdown. But if the shutdown lasts for weeks, public pressure will build to end the impasse.